from Boston and beyond. Heat981fm.com and iHeartStation.
Tonight's episode of Conversations with Coach La is brought to you by Virtual Services by Shamina Austin. Do you need to delegate some tasks, or are you looking to declutter a space? Well, assign it to her. Introducing Virtual Services by Shamina Austin. She's currently accepting new clients and offers a variety of back office services depending on your needs. Contact Shamina at 857-273-1528, 857-273-1528, or email shaminaaustin@gmail.com for more information.
Conversations with Coach La.
Coach La, your favorite neighborhood therapist, having real hard convos, contrasting pessimists, generational trauma explored, broach delicate, getting to the root of the pain, healing impediments. Every week signs copay, free lessons. Bet on self, trust the process, no questions. Feel your feels, journey to be healed, no stressing. Conversations with Coach La's now in session.
What's going on, beautiful people? Welcome to another episode of Conversations with Coach La. Your favorite around the way therapist is in the building. How y'all feeling out there? Shout out to everybody on Instagram, on Facebook, on YouTube, and of course, iHeartRadio. As you guys know, we are Boston's only Black-owned radio station that is on the iHeartRadio platform. It makes me very happy. I hope that makes you guys very happy. So, I've been a busy bee. Every weekend I'm a busy bee, but this weekend has been nothing short of just amazing. There's been a lot of great things that have gone on this weekend. I got a chance to hang out with my family and with my friends. It's getting so much that I'm starting to forget all of the things that I do every single weekend. I'm like, what did I do this weekend? But if you know, like you know, follow me on Instagram, therapist_Coach LA, so that you can stay up to date on all the amazing things that I have going on. Next week is a big week. We have an event, R&B Babe. Shout out to So Blanc Music. That is going to be going down at Slade's Bar and Grill, so make sure you grab your tickets for that. And then after that, we are going to be doing the final installment of the Sisterhood series that I've been doing with Puff and Process. That will be going down at the Diaspora in Cambridge, Massachusetts. So you guys want to make sure you check that out. That's going to be a great time. And all of these things can be found on my Instagram page, or you can also go to www.iamcoachlaw.com so that you can stay up to date on all things Coach. Yeah, I like that. All things Coach sounds pretty cool. So what do we got going on tonight on tonight's episode of Conversations with Coach La? You guys know we're in season 8. I still cannot believe that. And everything that we do here is about debunking the myth and stigma about mental health, one conversation at a time. And we are finally, believe it, in the last part of this 3-part series. We've reclaimed, we've remixed all of the adversity, and now we're going to reinvent. You know, season 8 has been nothing short of amazing, because we've been talking about betting on ourselves and reclaiming mental health, our mental health, by really being intentional, right? Healing from trauma and overcoming all the life transitions. I wish we wouldn't have more life transitions, but I think we will have that until we get that last little number at the end of the dash. We will always be transitioning. So tonight's conversation is really grounded in that. It's a near and dear conversation to me, because some of you may or may not know that October is Domestic Violence Awareness Month. And tonight's episode is all about that rebirth, right? It's about reclaiming your voice, your value, and your vision after life has tried to silence you, especially if you are someone that I like to call a thriver, no longer a survivor, but a thriver after going through domestic violence. So tonight, I have a beautiful spirit that I've had the pleasure of talking to on the phone about her journey and her reclaiming her voice and really trying to build, right, and reground herself after some really traumatic things have happened to her. She's a freelance makeup artist, She's a beautician from Boston who has worked on all types of faces and enhancing their beauty and really making sure that they look awesome. She's consistently educating herself and upholding her skills. She's also a fashion designer. She was sharing with me today she's been working on jackets, and I am really excited to see her work. And on top of that, for over the last decade, she has perfected her art by continuing to educate and network. So I am really, really excited for you guys to meet her and for her to tell you more about herself. And I'm going to bring her onto the stage. Without further ado, I'd like to introduce you to Artice Amor. Hey, sis, I'm going to bring you on camera right now. How you doing?
I'm doing well.
It's good to have you here.
Thank you. Thank you. It feels
I
good
have
to be here.
appreciated just learning more about your story. And I ask everybody who comes on the show, who are they outside of their bio? I know you're a makeup artist, you're a mom, you're a fashion designer, you're an advocate for women's empowerment. But what do you want the listeners to know that they may be surprised to know about you as we get ready to kind of explore your journey and what got you to be here on the couch with me tonight?
Well, first, I'd like to say hello, everyone. Thank you for tuning in. So for me, just getting into it, who do I want to know?
Yeah,
what do I want to know?
Who is Artice Amor?
Well, Artice Amor.
Artice.
Amor is a wonderful person, just down to earth. Outside of being an entrepreneur, outside of motherhood, and I'm a grandmother.
Really?
Yes, my grandson will be 3 years old.
Well, I would not
month.
have known that.
Yes.
It's they say, you grandmothers are looking so different than when we grew up.
We definitely are looking definitely different nowadays. But I'm, outside of doing makeup and working, I'm a mom at home. I have so much love to give to my kids. Like, we're always busy. We're always doing stuff. Again, I'm a pure soul. I love to do makeup. I love to make women beautiful. I love for them to see their inner beauty, because before you slap on the paint, there's still you. You know, you still have to shine through. But that's just a little extra, just to give us a little. But outside of that, I'm a mom, I'm a friend, I'm a daughter. Just a great person all around.
Yes, I have definitely loved your spirit. Now, you were also named Boston's Best MUA.
Yes.
So tell me about that journey of becoming voted Best of Boston in terms of being the best makeup artist. How did you come to be a makeup artist? Like, what brought you into this field?
So I want to say, it's so long ago, 20 years ago, I went to Blaine. It's Empire now. I think for the most part of my life, I loved makeup. My mom used to buy me these little, I don't know if you know, they're called Caputos, with the little makeup stuff. And I would spend hours as a child, hours. And then when I got older, my sister used to say, well, I used to meet people at the bus stop. And I would bring them to my older sister's house. And I'm like, can you do her hair? My sister's like, you got to stop doing this. So I think, this always has been a passion. This always has been Artice. This always has been me. I just love makeup. So I started that about 20 years ago. And then I want to say about 10 years ago, that's when I just really went hard with it. I moved to Atlanta. I met this woman, God rest her soul. Her name is Miss Boozy. And we're in the country, mind you. Chickens, cows, horses, farms. I mean, we're in the dead country. So I'm driving by and I'm like, you know what? I seen a sign hiring. I walked in and I said, I'm a makeup artist. I'm looking for work. She said, show me what you got. And
sound like a Jay-Z song, y'all.
She said, show me what you got. So I did her makeup and she said, you're hired. And she said, this is your section. You set up whatever you want to do back there. And I did that for about a year in Georgia. And that's when I really came to, this is who I want to be. This is what I want to do. Seeing those women leave every day beautiful and they felt good. No matter how they came in, everybody has
a story to tell.
Absolutely. So it doesn't matter how they came in. For me, it's how they left.
Right.
And they left with so much just love and great vibes. And that made me feel good. So after that, it was all over. I'm going full throttle. This is what I'm doing every day of my life.
Well, you mentioned, I was reading, you were saying, a lot of people look at makeup as covering something up. And you were saying that that's really about bringing out the natural beauty. And, I think when you feel good on the outside in conjunction with working on your inside, it's a perfect combination to build your confidence and to allow you to really step out, as I like to say, and bet on yourself. You need both. You need both aspects. So.
Absolutely. No one wakes up looking like this. Let me just put that. You wake up yourself. This is just a light enhancement just to show different aspects of your face and looks, but you have to be true to self. So don't feel like if you don't have this, you're not. You are beautiful inside. We just do a little razzle dazzle.
Little bazzle dazzle.
Little bazzle dazzle to get us on our day.
Absolutely. So other than being voted best and, certified cosmetologist, what else are you doing in terms of an entrepreneur? Because you're not just a makeup artist. So you also have now stepped into fashion. So talk about that transition and how you combine both.
So for me, the makeup definitely goes with the fashion.
Mm-hmm.
You want to look good to wear the clothes, obviously. And I have recently started a custom coat business with my dear friend Karen. So we kind of put our names together, Artice and Karen, and we came up with Cartice.
Ooh,
and
Cartice.
I just felt like when you buy a coat in the store, yeah, it's nice, right?
Mm-hmm.
But then you have, what if this coat had this, or what if this coat had that, or what if these pants had this? My friend and I, now we've come to, we can make custom clothes. So you'll be able to you can buy your own clothes, your own pants, your own shirts, whatever you'd like, and then ship to us or bring to us, and we'll just bring your ideas to life on your fabrics, on your garments.
That's really cool. I mean, I know a lot of artists are starting to do that. There's an artist that I like. Her name is Sierra Leone. I think it's Sierra Lynn, I think is what it is, the artist. And she hand paints on bags, hats, and jackets. And actually basketballs too. Recently, I've seen her do a bunch of customized basketballs. It's sort of like a mural. She does that style.
I think today everybody wants custom because for so long we had to go in stores and buy what was there, and there wasn't that many of us. And first of all, we didn't have the internet. We didn't have, all these things going on in the 90s. So it was, we had to go to a certain place to get this made or a certain place to get this made. Now it's like, you can find people to bring your ideas to life.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the greatest thing I think right now. Like I can call someone like, hey, I want a custom pair of shoes, and they know what to do. And there's probably like 100 of them. And, COVID really brought out all of that because we couldn't go anywhere. So we all tapped into our inner creative side, and that kind of got us going with that. But yeah, absolutely. That's what Cartice fashion is about. Just bringing your vision, your ideas to life on fabrics, on garments, coats, whatever you like.
I love that. You're very creative. I was last week, I was the MC for a conference, and the keynote speaker talked about using your imagination, especially as adults, and how we kind of, as we get older, we don't tap into our imagination as much as we did when we were a child. So I love that you're doing that. I think that is one of the greatest outlets to, or gateways to healing, is to be able to be creative. Now, this particular episode is the first part of part 3, where we're talking about reinventing, we're talking about leadership, and we're talking about legacy and liberation. And I thought it was pretty cool. And the universe has a way of just bringing things all together and reminded me that it was also Domestic Violence Awareness Month. Shout out to Jonathan for Raindrop Liquors for bringing us
shout out
together.
Love him so much. Love Raindrop Liquors so much.
He was like, she has a story to tell. I think she'd be a great add-on. And that's how you ended up here, right? So I know my listeners are also like, okay, well, this is a new person. Maybe they don't know you as well. So how does one sort of pivot because this is all about the power of the pivot, right? With the trauma and the adversity that you've been sharing and some of the things that you've been going through, how have you been able to stay so creative? I think that's really kind of where my mind is. I'm like, how are you using
a lot of
your imagination and being able to sort of push through with, because you didn't really touch on that yet, and I don't know how much you want the audience to know, like what you've really been going through in terms of like navigating, still being an entrepreneur and being creative with everything that's been going on in your plate? Because you are reinventing yourself right in front of us.
And it has not been easy. It
Mhm.
has not been easy. I think I want to say first and foremost, I had to cry for the little girl inside of me. So before I could tap into any creativity, tap into anything of who Artice was becoming, I had to cry for the little girl inside. Her trauma stems from being sex trafficked, abused, just going through really bad things in life. And for me to actually be the one to make it, I lost all my friends in 4 years. Every friend I had gone. So for me to actually make it out of that, and,
Mhm.
and crying for her, and real she needed me. I left, I abandoned her for so long because in my mind I'm like, you know what, I don't need her, I don't gotta cry for her, I don't gotta tap into this, I'm just gonna go the negative way. Once I started crying for her, and therapy,
Mm.
BetterHelp, shout out to BetterHelp, um that got me to really moving on in life. It got me to waking up. Mind you, I was married 10 years. So in the process of being married, trying to create all these businesses, being a full-time mother, speaking, just doing everything to stay positive, you have a failing marriage, right? Just
Talk about it. See,
uh, uh,
people don't know, like, the way we have to, show up in public is not always what's going on in
so
private.
exactly. So what you see this beautiful woman and all these beautiful pictures, but behind this, you have a person that was not so great to me for 10 years. When you're married, it doesn't come with a guide. This is how you're supposed to be a wife. This is how you're supposed to be a husband. But I think in common sense, to respect your partner. I think in common sense, you're supposed to help your partner grow. In my situation, the person that I was with stepped out on me. And stepping out on me resulted into a baby, into resulting to public humiliation, to the point where I didn't know what to do. I didn't know if I was going to be able to move on with my business. I didn't know if I was going to be able to grow. I didn't know what the world thought about me. Then I had to back up. Hold on. Wait a minute, Artice. You're a great person. You're a great mother. You've been through way too much. And that started, you got to get that snap back. What did Cardi say? Go buy you a new lace front. Go outside.
Shout out to one of my really, really good friends and author, Vic Reedy. She talks about bounce back with magic. She's actually
the bounce
going to
back
be,
is
she's going to be on this month as well. But sounds, there's so many people who listen to the show that are going through their own transitions, right?
I think just for me, and I don't know if anybody else is going through what I'm going through, my motto is can't stop, won't stop.
Mm-hmm.
If you soak in one thing and you don't, first of all, you got to get help. Nobody can just say, I'm fine. I thought I was fine for months until the breaking point. You got to let that type of, those thoughts, those feelings, you have to let those out. That's how you get to navigate and channel. If you just hold them in, you're just going to, for me, it makes you bitter and angry. Again, shout out to BetterHelp because.
Listen, she just jumped all the way to my segment.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I love it though. You're doing great. So I usually ask, so what does therapy mean to you? But Artice is like, I'm already going to break it down.
Therapy is everything. Oh man. Therapy got me out the bed in the morning. Therapy, it made me realize there's another day.
Yeah.
I got to tap in with myself and identify. Everyone's like, oh, I'm going through this. You have to identify some of the problems you have too. Mm-hmm. Just don't say, oh, you have to identify really what's going on with you before you can get back out there in the world. Like I said, that therapy helped me create more. It helped me be a better artiste, a better mother, a better friend, a better grandmother. So you really have to sit down and become one with self and talking about it and letting it out. You don't want to be bitter. We don't want to be, I didn't want to be the woman to, you saw Tyler Perry, she threw him in. I don't want to be that type of therapy. Had me.
Listen, sometimes our stories do really feel like a Tyler Perry story.
I felt like this was, I was waiting for the cameras to come out and be like, I've been punked. When the camera's coming out, this is a joke, but it wasn't a joke.
So a 10-year marriage, and in this, because a lot of people don't understand domestic violence, right? They don't understand vicarious, trauma, coercive, abuse, emotional abuse, financial abuse. Everybody thinks that often it's only someone physically putting their hands on you.
No, it's all kind of abuse. And then you're dealing with, when you get married, people fail to realize a lot of people get married for the wedding, right? They get married for the wedding, they get married for the dress, the whole big shebang. But after the wedding, you're stuck with that person, right? That's for better or worse. That's for mental issues. That's for sickness. That's for financial. That's for all of that, right?
You got to talk about it. So I had once had this conversation with one of my clients about the vows. Like when you really think about what you're saying with these vows, right? Like in terms of what you're signing up for, like the contract, right?
Oh, it's definitely a contract.
And you have no clue all that may happen, just like most of us who's ever dated. You meet somebody and they're one way, they're representative, and you don't know what 6 months, a year, 2 years, 3 years, 4 years is going to look like as you're lifing.
So what I do want to say is when you meet someone and you trauma bond, I trauma bonded, I feel like with...
What's that mean?
Trauma,
for those that don't know.
So for me, trauma bonding, and I was in a dark space.
Okay.
And my husband, soon to be ex-husband, he might have been in a dark space.
Okay.
So now we're both going through things, but we have a connection because we're going through bad things, and now we're codependent on each other.
Okay.
You know, now we're like, oh, this is only us. Nobody understands us. We're trauma bonding.
Mm-hmm.
And we'll fight our way through, and you'll argue and you'll fight, but you'll feel like there's nobody else because you've trauma bonded. You've only hit on that trauma.
Mm-hmm.
So your connection is only trauma.
Right.
It's only trauma, crying. There's no healthiness to that.
Yep. I just wanted her to say it. So y'all always think I'm trying to.
No, absolutely.
It's not just the therapist piece of it. It's really understanding what creates connection. And
there's all type of connections. There's sexual connection. There's trauma bonding. There's when people have cancer, or there's, you connect with people like you. Mm-hmm. And in my situation, I had 2 new twin boys. I had a son. I met this man. I didn't think, first of all, I was just transitioning into who I am today. Mm-hmm. So the person that I met 10 years ago is not the person today or myself. Mm-hmm. I'm a totally different person. But when I met this person, it was like, hey, I have somebody that's going to love me, love these kids. He wants to marry me. I didn't wait. I didn't get to know. I just went with trauma bonding.
Well, do you think you even knew that though? I mean, because that's a mainstream.
I think a part of me knew that something wasn't right on both parts.
Really?
Yeah.
So if you've already been going through it and this is what your norm is, how would you know it's wrong? How would you know something's not right?
So for me, it wasn't the norm. I came from a whole different lifestyle, right? So marrying this person, there's no control over me. There's never been control. I call the shots. I was living again, you read the bio, so I lived a totally different lifestyle. So being with this man, right? And, again, somebody wants to be with me. Somebody wants to.
Do you think that being sex trafficked and just your upbringing in general would have set you up for that, though?
Absolutely. And then telling him all this, was like, I got her now. She needs me.
Right.
No one's going to treat her better. And when you tell a person these things, going through something that I came out, and again, they're already trauma in their life, they use that against you. Do you know what that does to a person when they're telling you ain't nothing but just every time the little alcohol comes into play, right? So again, nobody comes with a pamphlet, right? You don't know this is not supposed to happen. He's not supposed to talk to me like this. And then I'm going through what I've went through, and that's like probably 10 notches up from what I went through. So I'm thinking this is great. He's loving on me. We're about to have a family. The only thing was Dad did give me money, but I'm just saying there was no difference. It was a piece of paper.
Yeah.
So he played, I feel like, I don't know, I can't say what he did for himself, but for me, it felt like he played on what I had been through. Right? So the more narcissist, the more abuse, the more that kind of stuck. Like, this is who I am. I've been doing it. I married him and he's still telling me these things.
Right. So, but did he start off like that? I think for a lot of people, you know, you
I'm an
have
idiot.
a honey.
I'm an idiot. Do you have something to throw at me right now? I'm an idiot.
It was like that in the beginning.
Baby, it was red flag after red flag. Again, it was my self-esteem, my self-worth. I didn't think much of myself. Again, I was transitioning from being one way in life. I didn't know life could be this great. I didn't know life was this amazing. And then as I started to outgrow my marriage and outgrow my husband, I started seeing different things. And I'm not going to sit here on national. I was not perfect. Again, you don't know I married my husband after like 10 months. You don't get to know somebody till damn near 3 years. Right? So again, we trauma bonded. I thought that's all I was worth, all I was going to have, and all I would ever get. And then this last situation where I think the straw that broke the camel's back for me was my eye. We're not doing that no more. You decided I told you to leave the home to get yourself together for your wife and kids. You decided to leave the home and be whatever you wanted to be and met somebody completely different. And now you had a child, there's a pregnancy, and I'm being humiliated online almost every day. Again, trauma bonding. I outgrew him. These things you're still doing with a person, you should know, calm your mind, this is wrong. Regardless of what we went through, this woman doesn't deserve this. I'm on a trail of greatness.
But do you ever think, why would we expect somebody who's never demonstrated that they would treat us well or be different to all of a sudden get a clue?
And you know what's crazy? I was raised with a mother and a father. My dad treated my mother like royalty. So you would think that I would but again, it goes back to being trafficked. That type of abuse and that type of pain and hurt, you don't really think much of yourself. And then when you start going through life, continuously doing, after you're free, because a lot of girls aren't free, they get caught up and lost. I was able to get home to my family. But for the most part, I just kept doing it because, your self-worth is so low. You don't know what life is like. And I'm just grateful that I was able to grow with my age.
How did you get out of being sex trafficked?
Whoa. So, I was in New York. It was my 15th birthday. I was 14. And, first of all, from Boston, I didn't know about that game. I didn't know I was a runaway. I just was looking for a place to stay, me and my friends. They separated us. One took one. I got sold to another one. I ended up in New York at 14 years old. I called my mother from a payphone. I said, Mommy, I'm telling her. She said, don't go to the police. It's going to be very hard to get you back home, baby. I'll be lost. I went to Port Authority. A homeless man told me to put a ticket in my pants. I got on a bus. I went home on my 15th birthday. I was whelped up from top to bottom. And that's how I got home.
So you ran away from home?
I ran, and the crazy thing is, and this is what I want to say to all the youth, before you get ready to run away from home and take off, the monster that you think is a monster with the horns and ugly, that's not the monster. The monster looks just like us. Okay? They look just like us. I ran away to go roller skating. 8 to 12, Chevu. My mother said no. I wrote a letter. Dear Mom and Dad, I'm leaving. I'm out of here. Me and my friend. That man caught us after we left there. That man caught us at the train station, and we were bought and sold.
That's horrible.
So,
well, thank God you were able to find your way.
It was nothing but God. My life had already been wrote. God had already had a plan for me. Again, like I told you, I lost all my friends in 4 years. I mean, back to back, like 7 people.
From passing away?
Passing away, drug abuse, just being sick, not taking care of themselves, getting lost in the world.
So this is when you got older.
This is in the last 4 years of me moving back from Atlanta, Georgia, back to Boston.
Wow. I'm so sorry.
I lost 2 of my best friends, and that just gave me a wake up, like not a wake up because I'd already been transitioning, but like I said, God had already wrote my life and I'm just living it. Every bad thing has happened to me. I've overcome it. I don't know how I get the strength sometime to get up and keep going, but I do. And that's that's why I said God had already, he has already wrote my life. I'm just living it.
Yes. So as we, come and you get back home, how and what kinds of supports do you think you would have, if you could look back, what do you think would have helped you to be able to heal sooner? That would have maybe helped you not be in an abusive relationship with your husband. Because you said you trauma bond, so I'm assuming that
I feel like I was fighting my way in the relationship as well. Like I didn't trust. I didn't know if it was real. I don't think he thought it was real. It was just too soon. I just wanted to be loved, and I think he wanted to be loved. But initially, we might have not even liked each other. We had to grow to love each other because we didn't know each other.
So is that to say in the 10 months you're saying you didn't like him?
In the beginning, I mean, you like somebody, but then you don't really love them, right? That's how I think in the beginning for me, type-wise, yeah, he's handsome, but I had just been somewhere else, and, it wasn't really what I was looking for. It kind of crept up, and then it kind of stuck. And then it was the trauma bonding. Like I said, me telling him my situation, him telling me his situation, the hurt. And then we kind of like, oh, we found somebody that we can love on each other. But it wasn't loving on each other. It was, I kind of think it turned into us resenting each other.
So when you met your now soon to be ex-husband, what I'm hearing you tell me is that you didn't really like him that much.
No, I think like the first, he was cool at first. And then I was like, oh, that's how you get? Oh, okay.
But you stayed married to him for 10 years.
Nope. This is how he got me. He picked me and my kids up from the station. From the airport. He said, if you want to come home, you'll call me. He was real smooth. Oh, smooth. Send me some money to get my bags home. This is when I just had the babies. I'm just redoing my thing. It was kind of like, yeah, I gotta. But
you had kids with someone else before him.
I did.
So were you you were coming out of a previous relationship before you met him?
Yes. So I moved to Georgia to stop my career as a makeup artist and try to get my own space and just branch off because that was the bigger picture. Everybody goes to Atlanta, Little Black Hollywood. So that was let me see if that worked. I actually met my husband in Atlanta. He was on vacation. And like I said, we had it was okay. I wasn't looking for that. So when I say maybe I didn't really I wasn't looking for that to really like anybody, and then one thing led to another and he seemed like a nice person, but we were both damaged.
I can see from a lot of times we're like, yeah, I'm not dating. I'm not really looking for anybody. No. Right. But sometimes we're gaslighting ourselves when really what it is we're looking for someone to save us.
And that's what it was. I was stuck. I was in Georgia. I was ready to come back home, and he was there. We grew. Like I said, we grew to fall madly in love at one point. But when you're trauma bonding with somebody, that does not last. That doesn't last at all because now when you start to grow, when you start to heal, you're like, oh man, I don't really want this. I don't really like this. Let me try to get out of this. But you spend so much time trauma bonding. That's what people have to understand. Just because you're with someone, it doesn't really mean you guys are in love. Sometimes it's trauma bonding. When you're fighting constantly every day, arguing, it's because you guys are growing out of each other. You're growing from where you were.
Yeah,
that's how I feel.
I think to put things in context, right? Like often, if something is your norm, and that's why I bring up norm. If you're used to arguing, you're used to name calling. This isn't something you're going to immediately see as a problem or as a red flag because it's something you're accustomed to and you're used to. Right. And so as you're sharing your story with somebody and you have that in common, you feel like you're understood. And that's what trauma bonding really comes from, is that you feel like this person gets me and understands my story.
I feel like that was my first time ever trauma bonding. Every relationship that I had before then was organic. It wasn't really trauma bonding. That's who I was. You change all the time. Right. So at that time in my life, that's who I was. So the person I met, that's who they was. That's who I was. But when I met my soon to be ex-husband, I was going through a lot. And that's how the trauma bonding started. I didn't identify that stuff was wrong because I had not been used to it. Again, I told you I was raised with a mother, and a father. So I saw the best qualities a man could do for a woman. Anniversaries, flowers, baking cakes for my mom.
Gotcha. But when you say you're trauma bonding, then where's the trauma?
The trauma comes from being trafficked.
And that's what I'm saying.
That type
Right.
of trauma bonding, but in a relationship like boyfriend girlfriend,
Right.
I hadn't been through that. Like it was, excuse me, dating, going out.
Right.
It wasn't
Right.
trauma, but with my soon to be ex husband, that was trauma. Like I had laid everything on, and then I had been through mad stuff after that.
Right.
So after the teenage, the trafficking, you have to understand, I got a good 20 years of me
Mm.
off and running and still thinking that's the way of life. That's how I was supposed to be at a club making money. I was supposed to be doing negative things. That's where more trauma added on, right? So that's at the end. I didn't have a boyfriend really. I was ripping and running. So when I met my husband, think about all that. And then I laid it on him. And then he accepted it. And then he laid his on me and I accepted it because I need somebody to accept my trauma.
Gotcha.
That's how we,
So, you have a very complex, some people would call this complex trauma. Like you got the sex trafficking, you already had children. I'm not sure what role.
I only had my first son. Thank by the grace of God, my last three children, they would never, they get this amazing artiste. I had to grow up with my oldest son. I had him at 17. So these, they get, as far as like, that person, they would never get to see my oldest son. He grew with me. I had him young. So that the trafficking and all that came before the last three children. The last three children, I was married, everything was, it was a little norm, but except for.
So what prompted you to go to therapy?
What didn't? Everything. I think I wanted to heal from the inside out. I just didn't want to heal with a makeup brush. Because you can throw that on and like I said, everyone thinks you're perfect Patty, but you're hurting inside. I needed to get that out. You know how people just put the jar on the shelf and they put it. No, we got to get them jars off. We got to open them jars up. I can't live like this. I can't. I couldn't think. I couldn't eat. I couldn't sleep. I was angry.
Yeah.
I was angry. I was angry for, with my mom. You could let this happen to me at a young age. I was angry with sisters and brothers, and I was just angry. So contacting the better help, that helped me put perspective on my life.
Yeah.
Well,
one of the things that I talked about last show, right, was meaning-centered coping, which is a psychological strategy for dealing with highly stressful situations. So starting a business, being an entrepreneur, doing fashion, all of those things really give you purpose, give you direction. It's actually a great way to have a healthy distraction, a healthy way to find a way to channel your pain into purpose. Some of the other things that we talked about offline that kind of want to make sure the audience knows, because I don't know that everybody really understands that 1 in 3 women and 1 in 4 men have experienced some form of physical violence by an intimate partner. And that's according to the National Coalition Against Domestic Violence. So it's not unusual. It's not unheard of. This is more common than we know, right? That people will at some point have a partner that won't be a healthy partner for them. So this idea of trauma bonding is really real, right? When you've had a traumatic past and you finally meet somebody that you can open up to, right? A lot of times people don't even necessarily have to both have trauma, but it's just feeling like you can share that and the person is receiving of you. And like you said, they can then use it against you, manipulate you with it. That vulnerability becomes almost like a weapon. So, and a lot of people in the chat are saying, thank God you were able to find your way through this and out of this, because now you're about to be divorced, right? And you are on the other side of this, public humiliation, just a lot of the things that you've shared so far. What's helping you do that other than therapy? What is your daily routine like? How are you pushing forward?
It doesn't stop being a mother. Life doesn't stop. I mean, it hurts every day, but when you look at your kids and you look at, they need you. And I want to show my daughter especially to be strong. I never want her to be weak. I want her to know it is not okay for a man to hit a woman. I want my boys to know it's not okay for a man, a woman to hit a man or a man to hit a woman. You know, every day I have to look at them and know they need me. So if I fall down now or fall short, who's going to love my babies like me? Who's going to take care of my babies like me? They give me everyday motivation to get up and keep going. Them little faces. And then my daughter just, Mommy, that is beautiful. Or you did that, Mom? Oh my God, it's amazing. And then my boys just, they sweat me, all my kids. And I love that. And that keeps me going. That keeps me moving. And the fact that there's another little brown girl or any woman that has been through what I've went through, that keeps me going to keep sharing my story, to let them know you don't got to take your clothes off to be beautiful. You don't got to work at a club. You don't have to let no man speak to you like this. You don't have to go through this. There's so many different avenues. There's so many different things you can do. So just the thought of me being able to help the next person, that keeps me going.
Yeah.
The next, somebody that was married going through what I went through, sis, hold on. It's so bad in the beginning. You feel like you're going to die inside. You're not.
Well, you know, society also, I mean, you think about gender roles and you think about most women want to get married, right? Most women want that husband and that partner, right? So I think the idea of marriage often,
It's beautiful.
you know, alludes to you wanting someone to come in and provide for you and save you and make your life softer, right? And so I don't think that necessarily makes you not strong because you want that.
No, I'm not saying that, but you definitely should take your time. Everyone, it's the glitz and the glam. You event planners
wedding
are doing the thing. Y'all are putting these visions, and it's not about the marriage. I mean, it's not about the wedding. It's about the marriage.
So how have your thoughts about marriage changed?
I still love love. Absolutely, I love love. I've found a little love lately, and it's beautiful to see colors. It's beautiful to know that door gets open before you even touch it. That chair gets pulled out before you even, that dinner's reservation's already there. You know, don't give up on love because there was one bad apple. It didn't spoil the bunch. I still believe in love. I still believe in good people. I still believe in, you know, just moving on. Just don't stop. You can still love again. Just take your time. Get to know someone. You don't necessarily have to get married after 2 days. I'm in love. No. Get to know the person. Get to know who you're dealing with. Don't give up. Believe in love.
Right.
Believe in, there are still good people out here. There are still amazing men, beautiful men out here that will love you. Or a woman, whatever you're into. Just take your time. Just don't give up. I'm not giving up.
Right.
I haven't given up. You see the smile. And if you saw my Facebook, I've been smiling a lot.
Yeah. So what do you think has sort of, what have you done to sort of change your perspectives on marriage and love? Like, what do you think is different? If you had to talk to someone now, what are some strategies or tips that you could share with them to be able to keep moving forward and to still be open to loving with the trauma and picking this guy and he wasn't the best guy? What do you think you could share?
Communication is key. You want to start something, the way you go into something and the way it's going to be. So if you go into it negatively, just believe that's how it's going to be. You want to go into something positive. You want to go into something, you want to ask questions. Hey, what's your favorite color? What's your favorite song? What do you like to eat? It's just take your time. Get to know yourself. If you're hurting and you're still healing, heal first. It took me all summer to even, you got to heal first. Heal. It's just, that's all I can say. Heal first.
Yeah. Well, healing is an ongoing journey. I think a lot of people talk about healing, but I think it looks different for every person in terms of what and how to do that. I think when we talk about you being an entrepreneur and sort of just going further with your business, how has that healing journey impacted your business?
It's impacted it major at this point. What was that question? Let me, so I can just answer it correctly for you.
Yeah. So how has your healing journey impacted your business? Because I know you're saying, you know, you need to just heal.
At one point, I couldn't do anything. I'm sorry. At one point, I couldn't do anything. it was very hard, like I said, going through loving somebody for so long, and then one day they don't love you no more and it's over. So that impacted everything. I didn't work, I didn't do makeup, I didn't design, I did nothing. So now that I'm healing and I'm going through these things, it's making me stronger than ever. I eat my breakfast, my losses for breakfast. I'm eating my losses for lunch. I'm eating my losses for dinner. I'm going to keep moving. I'm going to keep moving. That's all you can do. Keep moving.
Do you think you got to a place where you feel like it wasn't love? Because I hear you saying...
I think my husband loved me for a long time. I just think that we were hurting, both of us. I didn't know how to love him. I was just coming from this lifestyle. I had three babies. I met this man. I was different. And, I don't think he liked me. Like, it's hard. Like I said, trauma bonding will ruin everything.
So you think that you're saying he didn't like you?
I feel like at one point when you're married for so long, I'm not perfect. Of course, it's gonna be.
Well, I think we have moments that we don't like each other, but we're talking about loving, right? And
I think towards the end we stopped loving each other.
So at one point you did love each other.
Yeah, for a long time we did. You know what? I don't even know. I'm still going through therapy to find out if that was love. Did I give him the proper love? Was he giving me the proper love? I know it felt good at one point, and then it felt really bad for a long time.
Yeah. I have a lot of couples who talk about that, and relationships have transitions. I remember listening to a interview that Obama did, and him and Michelle for like 10 years were just at odds and really were not in a good place. So a lot of married couples talk about not liking each other.
Yeah, that's it. The worst part is, right? Oh God. The worst part is when you're married to someone for so long. For me, this is the part that bugged me out when I realized I had to share everything. No, like I had to share everything down to the toothpaste. It was just cosmetics. Like that was my first 6 months of being married. I think I wanted to get a node like every week. It was like everything just hit. It was just different once you sign a paper. And then that's what did it for me. Sharing, I had to share everything, and not just sharing stuff. I had to share my emotions. I had to share my heart. I had to share these are things I didn't know to sign up for because I did it so fast. And I went from being in the streets and doing what I was doing to, like, again, I didn't get to know him. I didn't know. When you marry, that's for real. It's for better or worse. Like, there's no getting around it at all. There's no, I don't want to be with you today. I don't like oh, you got a mole on your head now. I'm turned off. No, you're married. You better figure out what to do with that mole.
You know what's so funny? There was Duvall. I think it's Duvall. They have a podcast called Dead Ass. And one of the things they talked about, which I don't think we talk enough about, is that divorce is an option, right? And most times we don't talk about our needs, wants, non-negotiables, boundaries. Like we don't really bring those things up when we go into relationships.
Right.
Because like you said, it's like a fantasy, right? Like, you're just caught up in the wedding. And
I didn't even have a wedding. I went to the Justice of Peace. I did the dress, but so for me it was like, did I do it for the wedding? But I'm still thinking about, why? I'm sorry, but like, why did I? It's really just about, a lot of people think it's the wedding. And then after the honeymoon, you are stuck like Chuck. And there's a lot of people that really get married and love each other. But are we really out here getting married for love, or like you said, the wedding?
Well, I mean, you kind of threw a monkey wrench in there saying you didn't have one, right?
I didn't have a wedding.
So,
no.
I mean, again, I think a lot of people don't necessarily have a wedding. I think some people are going to the Justice of Peace. I think most people are getting married for various reasons. And it's different for each person, like I don't think everybody's doing it for the same reason. But I do think for the most part, the clients that I've spoken to, people that I've talked to, is because they don't want to live and do life alone. They don't want to die alone. They want a partner. They want somebody that they can talk to, that's going to have their back, that they can build a life with. That's the primary reason.
It's 2025 for me, right? There's a handful of those people you just talked about. They want to love and build a life and have a great life together, right? And then you have 45-year-old men talk about gang. Like, I mean, it's like the 40s want to be 20, and it's all over the place for me. It's like all over the place. I promise you, it's I don't know. The marriage thing, everyone wants to spend their life with somebody. Do you want to spend your life with the representative or the real person?
Well, I think most people want the real person. And I think you already spoke to slowing down and getting to know them. I guess the question is everybody's timetable on how long it takes to get to know when somebody is different, right? And if someone is set out to not be their authentic self, you may not know for a long time that they're not who you perceive them
I
to
think
be.
for a long time, for me, yeah, that's exactly what you said. It took me 5 years.
Yeah, it doesn't always play out like that.
No, 5 years you really don't know somebody for 3 years. Like for 5, it takes 5 years. I thought after the 5-year mark, they said in marriage 5 years, the first 5 years, it's going to be crap. I was like, dang, it's like 7 years now. Dang, it's like 8 years now. Is it going to get better? And again, you outgrow people. You change every day. So when you're outgrowing and again, you're married to someone, and like you said, marriage is a choice. You don't have to stay married if you don't want to.
You don't.
And a big thing is women think or men think, oh, I'm married, it's a forever thing. Oh, Mayday, abort. No. Now I'm learning in life. Like if I would have known 5 years ago, like I didn't have to go through this, I could have just left. I didn't have to go by, oh, this is ride or die, casket deep, we're together for no. I don't like how you're treating me. I don't like you're putting your hands on me. I don't like how you're talking to me. I'm leaving. And all of us women and men, don't stick around for that. If you don't like how somebody's treating you, putting their hands on you, Dr. Brian said, get out, run out, crawl away, rock away, get away.
Yeah.
You don't have to stay.
You don't have to, but there are always factors and reasons that I think make people stay.
Children,
be it financial,
finances, children,
safety in general. Sometimes it's housing and shelter in general. You don't have any place to go. You don't have a support system. So everybody's journey on why they stay is different. And I think it's really important to meet people where they are and for us not to be judgmental, because you never really know what somebody's walking with and what they're trying to navigate to get out.
As far as, do you mean like, I mean, when they're trying, okay, now I get what you're saying. Yeah, when they're trying to get out.
But perception, you may think somebody is staying because you don't really know what they're going through. Like, just to get up one day and leave is not always the safest thing. Most women are in most danger when they get up and they leave.
And that, you are absolutely right.
And so that prevents a lot of people from just getting up and just going without a plan.
Sometimes the best thing you can do is leave without a plan.
And again, I'm not saying that, but there are a lot of women that are listening to this show.
So listen, I know you are scared. I know you may be petrified. I'm looking at you. I know you may be scared, petrified. There are so many resources. You are not alone. I thought for a long time I had to stay with this marriage. I had to take care of this man. I had to deal with this type of behavior. If it's scary right now, you find your one moment and you get gone. One moment. There's so many programs. You are not alone. People will help you and your children. Do you want your children to wake up and don't have a mother?
And now I've noticed, even people probably have seen this, if you go to most medical places, they have the number in the bathroom for you to be able to get help, get support. They'll ask you questions a little bit different. You know, are you safe at home? Do you feel safe? I think entrepreneurship and having your own in general as a female, even as a male, is one of the greatest assets to be able to get away or to be able to move on when you have your own, right? And I think for a lot of women that might struggle for that if they're not working, they don't feel like they have education, they don't have resources. It may feel a little bit more daunting to just get up and go, right? But there's definitely resources and support. And one of the things that we talked about was your businesses being part of what's really been able to anchor you to have the strength and the courage to be able to get up and go.
Without my businesses, who knows?
Right.
And my children.
Right.
But again, like I said, I do what I do so that the next brown woman or any woman can see it's not where you started or where you've been. It's where you're going and where you are now.
Yeah. Which brings me to the bet on self moments. We might have to break in about 8 minutes for the legal disclaimer, but let's see if we can go ahead and jump into this. So we talked a little bit about bet on self moments previously offline, right? Those are those moments in your life where you say, if not now, then when? And if not me, then who? And I hope you have one for me. But talk to me about a bet on self moment, either something that's past, present, or maybe something you're thinking about doing in the future.
So right now I'm betting on self with Artice Fashion. This is a new venture for Karen and I. We're very confident in our craft. I think we're a little nervous for the world to see what we have been cooking up for you guys. But yeah, I bet on myself with this new fashion.
Now, how
line.
can people get in contact with you and your partner if they want a customized piece?
You just go to my Facebook or Kay Price. She's on Facebook as well. Again, this is our fashion show. You'll get more information because you'll be able to see what we're doing. It's like a sneaky thing, which is she doesn't want anyone to see our pieces, but this is you'll be able to definitely see and get the website and get everything the day of the show. Everything will be showcased, everything will be up and running. But for the most part, if you do want a custom piece, you can inbox me or Kay Price. You can send like I said, your garments to us 3 to 6 weeks. Just so you're not getting anything in a week or two. There's a lot of orders, but 3 to 6 weeks, you should get your order back.
Well, with something that's customized, it takes time and attention, and I'm sure you're going to
I can't wait to get you. I can't wait to make you a piece. You're going to love it. It's going to be so amazing.
So, it's interesting. So many people have stories, right? So much in the background, and all you see the glam, you see the business, you see them thriving. And I really appreciate you just opening up and being vulnerable to talk about things that people may or may not know that you've even been dealing with or have overcome to be the woman that we see today that's starting her own fashion line and fashion shows. I think that's amazing. I think that most people have a story to tell. It's layered, it's complicated, it's messy. It's like a Tyler Perry movie. Sometimes the plot twists don't always align, and you're like, wait a minute, hold up, slow down. Wait, how did that happen? Well, who's that? Who are the players? Who are the characters? So there's a lot to it, right? You might have to write a book one day, girl.
I'm thinking about it. I am thinking of, but I do have, if you are interested in reading a little bit more about me, you can purchase Phenomenal Women of Color. I was published in their magazine with my story, just about where I've been and how I got to where I am today. You can also look on my page, my bio's up, and also book me. I'm a freelance makeup artist, Atlanta, Boston, Connecticut, New York. You can book me whenever you like. All occasions are welcome. And definitely, please, get your custom in, get your orders in, because these creations are amazing and you will not be disappointed. I can promise that.
And when you look good, you don't just feel better, but you remember that you deserve better. And I think ultimately, I love talking to entrepreneurs who have a story that people would not be able to look at you and see. You don't necessarily see trauma. Not everybody who has had a traumatic past or even has a mental health issue is visibly where you can tell that they have those things. These are those silent things that unless you get close enough and they feel comfortable enough, you probably will never know that they're going through what they're going through.
I just I want women to know you're not alone. And, we are the roses that grew from cement. Mm-hmm. Don't count yourself out, baby. Roses grow from cement. Don't ever count yourself out.
Mm-hmm. I do agree with that. I want people to be encouraged. One of the things I talk about with Bet on Self is believing in power and transforming. And a lot of it has to start with your belief in yourself and making that decision. And then getting around people and resources, support systems that help you to tap into being empowered, right? And that's just you having self-efficacy. Like you said, to get up and go, you have to have confidence and self-efficacy to do that.
And a good support system.
Yes.
I don't think I would be able to get out from where I was because I was in a definitely dark place. So if you have a good support system hold on to them tight. My support system, they really pulled me through these past couple months to get back on the horse and keep riding.
I what 2 episodes ago we talked about mothering the community was the topic, and that it wasn't just about having children, but it was also about how we support and how we love up on each other, right? And the empathy and the grace that we extend, and just being a little kinder and taking a step back, because you just never know someone's story.
You never know
that what they might be going through and how their triggers and everything may play out. And at the same time, I think we have a personal responsibility to understand that people don't know our triggers, and it is our role and our responsibility to really think about how we're showing up in the world, so that people are not walking around on eggshells around us all the time, because we've been through trauma, we've gone through this and we've gone through that. Not everybody knows this stuff about you, right? And so how do you engage with the world?
A lot of people don't know. I think one person inboxed me and said, I thought you were just spoiled and did it. I was like, you wouldn't think, because it's not something that was, blasting. Again, we didn't have internet, and we had pagers and payphones. So the word didn't get out. No one really knew. But just for people, when they hear my story, they're like, wow, how did you? And it's really not for me. It's not how. It's just like I said, God loves me so much and I love him so much. My life has been wrote and I'm living it, and I'm taking it one day at a time. I'm not overwhelming myself, one day at a time. And that's how I'm getting through my days, one day at a time.
Yeah. And I think that's a good way. I mean, they talk about being present, right? And they say, when you're looking in the rearview mirror, you're holding yourself back, right? Like when you're looking, but when you look too far ahead, you can have anxiety, right? And so, our past sometimes can hold us back because of the trauma. So how do you be present, right? In the moment, what's happening, right? And being able to get those receipts, check for facts. If no one hasn't harmed you or they haven't done anything to you, like you said, you have to still have space for love and trust and deal with people on what they're bringing to the table in the moment. But that can be really hard when you have a traumatic past. Hold on.
The Urban Heat. Expect the unexpected. Unorthodox radio from Boston and beyond. Heat981fm.com and iHeartStation.
All right, y'all. You guys have been tuned in to another episode of Conversations with Coach La. We've been on the virtual couch talking to Artice. I've really enjoyed your conversation.
Thank you.
We are just about at the end of it. So let's just talk about Coach's Corner. We'll go ahead and wrap up with some takeaways and some insight on what we want people to take away from today's conversation. So, Coach's Corner, y'all. Here we go. All right. So, takeaways. What is something that we want the audience to walk away from this conversation today? A moment that we reflect and we just gather some of the key thoughts. And you shared a lot of nuggets, a lot of vulnerability. What's something you want people to carry with them from this conversation? If you could leave one mark for those that are listening, what do you want them to know?
You're stronger than you think.
Talking to the mic.
Yeah. I'm looking at myself. That's terrible. You're stronger than you think.
No, that's beautiful, actually.
You're stronger than you think.
Yeah. I have started to more and more redefine strength, because I think even doing what you're doing now requires a level of vulnerability, right? And vulnerability is not often considered strength. And I think that we need to reframe it and think about sharing your feelings. Being able to say you were hurt doesn't always translate to strength, right? What we've been told is keep it all in, suck it up, keep going. Never let them see you.
Worst thing
right?
You can do.
Never let them see you sweat. So I think, you're right. You're stronger than you think. Expressing your emotions, tapping into your support system. Entrepreneurship becomes liberation when it's rooted in healing, right? And leadership becomes legacy when it's uplifted by others. So I think as we're moving through, everything that we do is a stamp of the legacy that we're leaving. In this very moment, we're creating our legacy. We can do it while we're alive. Sometimes people don't talk about legacy until you pass away, but everything is about what we're doing in this very moment. So really thankful that you were able to come and talk
I
to me.
am very grateful to be here, and I'm grateful that I was able to share my story with other people in case they're if they are going through, things that I've been through. You can make it. My dad always told me there's a light at the end of the tunnel.
Absolutely.
There's always a light. So it might hurt today real bad, but tomorrow it's going to hurt. But the day after that, it hurts a little less. And the day after that, it hurts a little. And the day after that, you're better. It takes time, but just take time for yourself.
Absolutely.
Therapy, prayer, and just know you are enough.
Yeah.
You're enough.
Absolutely. So
You're
everybody, keep betting on yourself because your healing has a ripple effect and it goes beyond your pain. Next week, we're going to have another episode of Conversations with Coach La. And I'm excited about my next guest. So y'all want to make sure y'all tune in. And don't forget that legacy isn't just what you leave behind. It's what you build while you're healing. Every time you choose to rise, you become someone else's blueprint. So I hope you guys have a wonderful week. Thank you for tuning in to another episode of Conversations with Coach La. Thank you, Artice. I
Thank you
appreciate
so much for having me.
coming. And y'all have a good night. Good night, everybody.
Good night, everyone.
Bye.
SmokeHouse. It's the urban heat. Shout out to Coach La. Coach La, it's time to listen to conversations that's gonna keep you winning. Sunday nights at 10 p.m.